Hey everybody, it's Black Spring with Autumn here on your Saturday. I hope everybody's doing well. And today, I'd like to bring you a little bit of an update or a bit of clarification on the actual the particular pandemic, if you will. We will deal with the word pandemic, or in light of the actual bill that's being passed. This particular segment is going to shed some light on what maybe the delay was in the actual bill, and what efforts were being made to pass other measures that were unrelated to the actual pandemic. And of course, we have the matriarch of all bills that should be read after you pass them, and that, ladies and gentlemen, would come from none other than Speaker Nancy Pelosi. If you don't remember, in previous administrations, she even, it was under the affordable health care, under the Obamacare. She mentioned that you have to pass the bill to find out what's in it. And so in this instance, we'll just go ahead and find out what's in it. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me here for this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Now here, this particular article is entitled, Trump Stops Pelosi from Putting Abortion Funding in Anti-Pandemic Bill, House to Pass the Clean Measure. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit in and out here. This particular source is the lifenews.com, is where you can find this article. I will place it in the box for you. In a victory for the Trump administration and pro-life Americans, pro-abortion Speaker Nancy Pelosi has relented and agreed to deal with the Trump administration to pass a clean version of the economic stimulus bill dealing with the pandemic. A clean bill with the Hyde Amendment attached to it will receive approval from the House of Representatives tonight and will be signed into law on Monday after the Senate approves it. As Life News reported, Speaker Nancy Pelosi is so dedicated to promoting abortion and forcing Americans to fund killing babies in abortion that she's been caught trying to add taxpayer financing of abortion to the bill to combat the corona pandemic and provide economic stimulus to the nation as it deals with the pandemic. Pelosi came under heavy criticisms from pro-life advocates, from pro-life lawmakers like Senator Ben Sasse, and even the president himself. Quote, Pelosi wanted to sneak in $1 billion in funding for abortion programs through the pandemic stimulus package. Don't ever tell me the Democrats aren't politicizing this situation, end quote, human rights editor Ian Chong argued. As late as Thursday, the president said he couldn't support the bill without the Hyde Amendment language in it. Okay. A reporter asked Trump at the White House if he supports the legislation. Quote, no, because there are things in there that have nothing to do with the things we are talking about. End quote. Trump told the reporters in the Oval Office as he sat with the Irish Prime Minister, Leo Varadkar. Quote, it's not a way for them to get some of the goodies that they haven't been able to get in the last 25 years, end quote, the president said of the House Democrats. Okay, so we have a bit more here in this particular segment. We have the cleaner version from the White House and Pelosi. Quote, we are proud to have reached an agreement with the administration to resolve outstanding challenges and now will soon pass the Families First Pandemic Response Act, end quote, Pelosi wrote in a letter to Democratic colleagues. Quote, this legislation is about testing, end quote, she wrote. The legislation is meant to help people whose lives or jobs have been upended by the epidemic by providing benefits for idle workers, added food stamp funding, and boosted unemployment insurance. It also would increase pandemic testing and give states funding for health care. Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin would lead the administration's efforts, spoken 13 times over the course of the day regarding the deal, most recently at 5:48 p.m. on Friday evening, according to Pelosi spokesman Drew Hamill. Now, Tony Perkins, the head of the Family Research Council, also blasted Pelosi for putting abortion funding in the measure. Quote, Congress's coronavirus pandemic bill was supposed to be about saving lives and not taking them, but tell that to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who doesn't seem to mind exploiting a global strategy to help out her pals at Planned Parenthood. Turns out, while Democrats are bashing the president for not working fast enough, they are bogging down the debate with secret language on abortion, he said. Even more astounding, quote, even more astounding, Pelosi had the nerve to stand in front of the press and argue that this bill was about, quote, putting families first, end quote. Perkins continued, quote, because even in a crisis, the only economy Democrats care about is the abortion industries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here's just a bit of my tag on this. So here again we have another example of the Democrats and Speaker Pelosi pushing, of course, an agenda that's in full step with UN Agenda 21. You know, some might go a step further and say, you know, of course, depopulation. It's not about saving lives, it's about taking lives. And I mean, it's pretty apropos that they wanted the funding to be almost four times what the president originally proposed as a bill. And they said that, oh, you know, that's not enough. 2.5 billion is not enough. And we ended up with around $8.5 billion proposed. So that's, you know, of course, you notice they start to any extra funding or any extra ways for them to manipulate or subvert or come up with taxpayer subsidies that are unconstitutional and be fiscally irresponsible, they jump right on it. So it's not the Twilight Zone, it's just the Democrats' agenda. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what your concerns are. If you could hit the like button, the subscribe button, if you could hit that bell for more notifications from Black Spring with Autumn. There will be a panel. I will be giving you an update and an actual time and date for that as it is to come. And also, I'd like to thank you, as always, for joining me here on Black Spring with Autumn, and hope you have a great Saturday.